Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the Relationship Cheat Code, where we give you the game, helping you to stress less and experience your absolute best in your relationship. This right here is my lovely and incredible wife, Iana.
And this right here is my fabulous Pookie Pie, my husband, Ayise.
I'm your Pookie Pie?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're always on Pookie Pie, even when you're an irritant. We just sat here and talked
we had a whole conversation about a mic, y'all, about mic placement.
A solid 5 minutes about my husband trying to just do it like this, put your head like this, do it. I'm like, bruh.
It matters, baby.
You press.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it matters. It matters how you position.
I could see if I was talking way out somewhere. You talking about, no, you have to talk into the mic like this.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and hop into it, y'all. So how you doing, babe? Aside from you feeling like I'm being pressed, how are you?
I just said before we as we were sitting down, that I am thankful for this slow down moment. Because, things are picking up the pace over here. Mm-hmm. Anytime we're getting ready. So for those who don't know, we are from the DMV, PG County represents. And so we live in California now. I've been here for going on 5 years.
Yeah.
Can you believe you've been in Cali for 5 years?
Nah, it's flown by.
5 years. That's just crazy to me. But every summer since we've been here, we have gone home to visit our family and to see our parents and our siblings and longtime friends and, just be in the area. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Get some crabs.
Yeah.
Do a little something. You know what I mean? So anyway, y'all what does this have to do with the answer to the question, Iana? So it's that time. It's that time of year. We leave in a couple of days. And so it's always it's just stressful because there's a lot to get together and a lot to do. To put on autopilot with the business and to not put on autopilot, still be having to run things. Let me tell you something. These entrepreneur streets ain't no joke. These you own your own business and you have to kill what you eat. Isn't that what they say? Mm-hmm. These streets ain't no joke, especially when we're going home for a month. We're going with our entire family, all of our kids. We have 5 kids for those who don't know. And then from there, we're going to Atlanta to drop off 2 of our daughters, one who's a rising sophomore and the other who is an incoming freshman. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. I know all the mamas out there, wives, just people. You can imagine, shifting your whole life. And, some people might be like, well, it's not that much, Iana, it's just a month. But we be shifting our whole life. All this equipment in here be coming with us.
Yeah.
Ayise be doing all of that, all of the clothes and all the things for my kids. Well, for my 8-year-old, everybody else got to get their own stuff. It's just a lot. So to answer your question, damn, I be amplifying.
You do.
I be amplifying like a
you really
mug.
I just asked you how you doing.
You just said, how you doing? Mm-hmm. But obviously I really needed to get it out. So I am high stress, but handling the stress really well, and feeling excited and grounded. Because even in the midst of that, my self-care has been good with my walking, and it's very therapeutic for me. I am starting to low-key love it. Never thought I would say that.
What?
I never think I would say that, but I am. I think I'm,
wow.
I've entered onto that street. So, and to the point that this morning I was when I was walking, I was okay, so I got to really be intentional about a plan to maintain my walking when I get home, because a disruption to your routine, right, can take you off, and you mean to, but you just don't, because you're just not in your norm.
Yeah.
And I was oh no, I can't do that. I cannot lose my momentum.
You won't. I won't let you.
So I'm feeling good, and I'm feeling excited about going home and getting some crabs.
That's what's up.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I mean, one of the things that I believe you may have lifted this up yesterday, and I think it ties directly into what we're doing right now, which is checking in. You were sharing some things with me. We were having some pillow talk. And so I don't know about y'all, but if you're a husband and you got a wife, sometimes they choose to have deep conversations at the most inopportune time, like when you're trying to go to sleep. And, we don't necessarily be feeling like listening, but because we're good men and because we're good husbands, we oblige. A lot of the times, not all the time, and so last night, my wife, she shared some things with me, but what I really liked about it and what was really different was that you were sharing not for a solution, but you were sharing because you wanted me to be in it with you. And so some of the things that you just mentioned right now, in terms of all of the things that be swirling around in your head, and I think a lot of women deal with this, but you got a lot of things that are swirling around in your head. And so, things that you have to get done, things that I got to get done, honey-do list, all of that type of stuff. And so because you're holding on to all of these things, I do think that it weighs you down, and it probably weighs a lot of women down. Mm-hmm. And what relieves some of the pressure, and correct me if I'm wrong, is when you have the opportunity to share what those things are. So when a safe space is created, or if you take that space and then we lean into it with you, then that can relieve some of the pressure just in simply you sharing all of the things. And so what you said to me last night, it was just different because you weren't just talking. You really made a request that
do I ever just be talking?
Sometimes you do. But you made a request that I be in it with you. And so like you were looking
invite
for
you to come on in here.
Yeah, like you were looking for empathy. Empathy in the midst of the overwhelm. And in order for me to empathize fully with you, then I got to know what the things are, even though I don't understand them to the same degree. Now, some of these things I do because they're technical things that need to be taken care of, but in concrete things that I can do or participate in. But even outside of that, just feeling it with you. I sense that you want me to feel it with you. Maybe even you want me to feel it like you feel it. And if I can't feel it like you feel it, you still want me to feel something. And so that was different. It was a different type of conversation. And you probably felt like because I was trying to go to sleep, like I really wasn't listening that much, but it was just different. Your request was different. And I appreciated that.
Okay.
Yeah, just you asking, you extending yourself and then telling me what you wanted, what you need in terms of me just feeling with you in these experiences. And so so that's different. And I also want to say this though, that this is probably more of a challenge for you, but as much as you want me to feel with you in these experiences, I do think that a part of you wants me to feel like you when it comes to these experiences. And you want my reaction, my response, my expressiveness to look similar to yours. And there may be a certain level of disappointment when it doesn't. I don't know, because even you shared some good news earlier with me today. Some really good news. And my reaction wasn't like your reaction. Mm-hmm. And so does that mute your happiness and does that leave a void for you? Or are you like, do you recognize that that's something that you got to work on in terms of wanting me to respond in the same way that you respond?
Oh, what a great question. So you're kind of on, but you're kind of off. Okay. So I'm going to clarify, going back to this conversation last night. So again, y'all, let's point process this thing. We're talking about check-ins. Like, so the podcast sometimes for us, like today, it is apparently a check-in for us. Mm-hmm. But check-ins can be done at any time. Our Blamly members, if you don't know what it means to be a Blamly member, you can always go to the link below this video and learn more, or schedule a consultation to learn more. But anyway, check-ins are something that we talk about a lot in the Blamly. We talk about, and if anybody who's watching is a member of our community, you ain't done that lately, you off. You out of pocket. Mm-hmm. OOP. And I think what's important is for there to be consistent times that you come together to have a conversation, to check in on the other person, to check in with the other person, and to let them know how you are doing. Mm-hmm. And it requires vulnerability. It requires for you to get in touch with what's happening with me. Yeah. All that good stuff. So I just want to, again, just make sure everybody knows where we are. We're talking about check-ins, and we're talking about the check-in that happened last night. Although my husband said it's not the ideal time. Mm-hmm. I know that if I had been talking about, can I show you what it looked like underneath my pajamas right now, I want to have a conversation about it. can I show you what it looked like under there? Because I want you to see up under there. He'd have been all ears. He'd have turned around like he would have been still sleepy. Like, oh man, like wait a minute, what now? You know what I'm saying? So if we can make room for some things, you can make room for some other stuff too, even on the pillow. That's just my opinion. Okay.
That is your opinion.
That is my opinion. But here's the thing. So my husband, okay, y'all see I'll be taking forever. But you asked me the question about whether or not, I just want you to empathize with me essentially, and that there's a disappointment because you don't feel it like I do, or and I think that you're right that I do want you to empathize. It's not my issue. So just as a point of clarity, just high level, what I was sharing with my husband last night is some of the things that we need to do to get ourselves, focused on where we're going in terms of our financial goals, in terms of our business goals. Also, we're in Cali. I already said that earlier, but everybody who followed me for a little while know we moving to Atlanta. That's a whole situation, y'all. That's a whole situation. And these are the logistics, the details. I know the sisters know what I'm talking about, that the men don't think about because they don't coordinate it. They don't be in it. They just be like, what you need me to do, babe? Right. But they don't be in the details of how does this thing get executed. And so that's like a year and some change, like a year and a couple of months away. And so for me, that literally means it's tomorrow. Mm-hmm. It literally feels like, oh, that's a few weeks. Mm-hmm. That's what it feels like. You better get on it because you got to have a process to pack up this house. You got to have a process to get rid of stuff you don't want. You've been here for 5 years. Where are you moving to? What does that look like? How are you transporting the stuff? You know what I'm saying? How you getting your family there? And it costs money. Wow, 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 wow. And you know what I'm saying? I remember when we moved from the DMV out here and them people quoted us. They were like, that'll be about $10,000 to move all your things from the East Coast to the West Coast. I said, I know you lying. Let's get out here in this driveway and do what do we do?
We did a garage sale.
A garage sale. Yeah. We're going to take some things, but we ain't taking all of that. Mm-hmm. So anyway, yes, I'm going somewhere with this, y'all. The empathy is what I'm looking for, but I want you, and it's interesting I'm saying this. I'll say why it's interesting in a moment, but I don't want you to just empathize with me. I want you to get in here with me. On my hum today. Mm-hmm. I want you to get in here with me. I'm saying that to say there's so many things right now that we are managing and have to manage. I don't want you to just like feel me. I want you to be interested. I want you to, there's something that my husband did. Shout out to my husband. Recently, mm-hmm. And he did some, I'll just say some great life insurance moves, some great life insurance strategy going on. And he just let me know like, this is what I'm doing, la, 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 and I handled this or whatever. I was like, oh, really though? I was like, that's sexy. Somebody type sexy in the chat just for that. You watching this, just type it down below and be like sexy. Just reinforce like, dang, and so that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is that, that's something that I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not even thinking about that. But he was clear, like, this is what I need to make sure that we do to protect our family. And so these other things, I don't mind being at the head of some of these things in terms of like, mm-hmm. As most women are, like, this is what we're doing in terms of whatever the logistics are and the details and the coordinating, we got that gift, y'all. Sisters got that gift.
Y'all do.
But I don't want to be like coming up to the day of we getting ready to leave or the day of the thing, whatever. And you really are just kind of sitting on the outside. I want you to be interested. I want you to be, I want you to, push some things my way while I push some things your way. I want you to initiate some conversations about some of the things that, I talked about in terms of our financial goals and in terms of our, the strategies that we're using, that kind of thing. It's not that we don't do that stuff all the time. I think the thing is that because we work together, we, all of that, we're talking about that stuff in general all the time, but that's like every day. It's not every day, but it's like regular day-to-day stuff. Yeah. It's different to be like, well, we got to like, if we want to be here in 5 years, if we want to be here in 10 years, you want to be here in 7 years, then we actually have to stop. We got to get out of there every day. We got to move over here now. And we got to do this. You know what I'm saying? Or we got to maintain this, but then we're going to have to like circle back and do this way. Like that's a different type of thing. And I don't want you to just empathize about it. I want you to get up over here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And let's brainstorm on that stuff together. So I feel like you got it, but you missed it a little bit, because how is it that you get over here? And I'm gonna say this to you, my sweet husband, and all the men who are listening. You just engage. You just respond. Because I sure enough know that when I was talking to my husband last night and I said all of that, I was sitting on the edge of my proverbial seat in my bed, like, is it gonna say anything? He was like, the classic Joan, yeah. The classic. And this is good. I mean, we both do this. We tell everybody when you're just chewing on something, right? Thank you for sharing that with me, baby.
I learned a long time ago to respond, y'all. You got to respond. Make sure you respond, because I would not respond because I didn't know what to say. But then I learned that you got to say something. You got to say something. So
I was like in my mind, like, he ain't wrong. He ain't wrong, because you said, thank you for sharing that with me, baby.
I really appreciate that.
I'm like, damn, that's all you got to say?
No, I said more than that. I said you're right. You actually giving me something to think about. I appreciate that.
Thank you for sharing, baby.
I mean, I'm just saying,
so what I'm saying is, I mean, so I'm no shade intended, right? Like, but I will say my husband from way back in the days come a long way, because he used to just like not say nothing. I'd be like, is you here? So that is a step up. So for those who just don't even respond, because you're digesting, or my husband, you used to say, I ain't had nothing to say. Like, you said what you said. I ain't know you were looking for me to say something, right? Like, what is there to say? And I'm like, bruh, like, you know what I'm saying? Dialogue 101. You're like, we talk back and forth. And that's how this works.
11 o'clock at night.
It don't always be 11 o'clock at night. That joint could have been 9 o'clock in the morning where we eating eggs and bacon.
Nah.
Yeah. So. Yeah. You was you're a man of few words. Over the years, your words have increased tremendously. Tremendously. And I think it's because of the work that we do. If we weren't doing this work, you might be mute by now. If we was just, going to work like we was back in DC and working in the field, doing social work and therapy and all of that, you might just be a non-talker, but this has made you had to lean in.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has. And so, again, I learned a long time ago to you got to say something. You got to respond. But this is where it gets into.
However, I would have liked more of a response.
Yeah.
And so you might not have said nothing then. I know y'all gonna type in the chat, let him talk, Yana. I'm about to. However, I heard you say, thank you, baby. Right. So I knew, like, okay, it's good. But I know he's tired. I was low key, like, but I was cool with it.
Hold on. Not only was I tired, but my stomach was hurting too.
Oh, that's important. Okay.
That really is. That's an important piece.
Okay.
Y'all know when y'all got a bad stomach ache, like, you don't want to talk.
We was talking before then, like.
Nah, but it was minimal conversation because I really wasn't trying to engage. I was hot too. Like, yeah, it's just I
know our air conditioning upstairs is a little challenge right now.
Yeah.
So you can come back later, right? And it's not even about coming back later. I mean, it'd be great if you came back later to talk about that particular conversation. But beyond that, again, talking about those types of things that I was talking about, initiating those conversations. My husband, he is not somebody who doesn't take in a vast amount of information on, a great deal of things. So most of the time I'm bringing this stuff and he's well exposed to a lot of stuff I'm not even exposed to, but you're running that through your mind, or you're keeping it close to the chest, or you might share some stuff with me time to time. Usually it's business related or whatever. But you're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, come back and like open up the conversation. Let's sit down and let's look at some of these things, because you started it, because you initiated it. And because you matched my energy, not just thank you. And then, you kind of like go back into literally what I was saying last night. It's so easy to be in the regular, I know everybody can identify with this mundane, routine, monotony of life and all the things we have to do, that you'll look up and a week will have gone by, a month, a year, several years, a decade, and you're no closer to some particular goals than you were, you know what I'm saying, a decade ago because you didn't take the time to pull yourself out of it. And I do feel like, I don't know if that's a man thing. I know in terms of us, I know that's harder for you. I feel like you're definitely that one who like, you get in the grind and you just be grinding. And I'm like, wait a minute, Paul, step out of that for a second so we can see where we're going. And sometimes I feel like I have to yank you.
Hey, what's up, y'all? So we know you're enjoying the episode, but check this out, y'all. We're not just any old random couple that's coming on YouTube every week just giving relationship suggestions and stuff like that. We're way more than that, y'all. We're trained therapists and relationship coaches. Yeah. This right here is my beautiful, incredible, sensational wife, Iana.
And this right here is my dapper, debonair husband, Ayize. So y'all, we just want you to know that there is more. We don't want you to just be a spectator. We want you to get in here with us and join our community. We have all kind of folks who are doing their personal work, their relationship work. We have sister circles and men's lounges and trainings, and we address all kinds of things from infidelity to disconnection to communication issues and sex and intimacy issues. Look, the solution is at blandcore.com.
Come and join us. I mean, so yeah, you do. And I definitely receive what you're saying. I do receive it. I think whether it's with me or other men, that sometimes there's a clashing between husband and wife because there's this underlying feeling, even in what you're expressing right now, that it feels as though you might be devaluing the day-to-day, the doing, the executing, the routine, the everyday thing that needs to take place. And so for somebody who derives a lot of personal value, esteem, and security, and strength from establishing whatever a task may be, and then successfully navigating and accomplishing that task, there's merit to that. There's merit to that activity, sure. and to that output. And so when you're talking about this whole piece around getting where you at, and initiating these conversations, it feels as though that right there is being placed above what it is that's taking place day to day. Whereas I do believe that both need to happen. But I also believe that everybody don't have to always do both things.
Oh, I agree.
And so that's the way it feels, though, that, so this gets back into the whole empathy piece of you wanting me to show up like you, and not really respecting the way in which I may show up naturally.
Well, where are you getting that from? Why are you, it sounds like such an extreme kind of an interpretation, like you want me to get in there like you, instead of respecting. There's that word, respecting the way that I do things. I mean, one of the things that you and I know that I don't know if others know, but we know that like in the way that we live our life, like we're really good partners. And it's not that I don't grind and do the things and do the day-to-day stuff, but I shine when it comes to launching the new thing, initiating the next step, moving into new territory. It's not that you don't move into new territory or initiate the next step or, do a new thing, but you shine in terms of like locking it down, getting into the grind and moving us forward. Like we know that we play those two roles is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that I still don't want you to, at times, depending on what we need to focus on, to abandon your post for a moment, or maybe not abandon it, but leave your post for a second and come over here and like get with me on this thing, and then you can go back over there, cause I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do regardless. It doesn't mean that in the things that you do, like so much of like what happens in the day to day, of even our company, there's a lot that you keep pushing along. It doesn't mean that I can't come over there and join you.
But I don't typically ask you.
You know what I'm saying?
To leave your post.
What do you mean?
I think that's just the difference between, I'm not going to say all men, women, I'll say you specifically. So you want me to feel with you and you want me to be in it with you and to initiate some of the things.
Well, not some of the things, conversation, the engagement, so that I'm not like in my own world thinking about our future and the things that we say we want to do and we're going to do whatever. And I'm just kind of in that and like revving myself up. Like you're in it with me.
You're trying to be more inclusive. And I definitely respect and I do think that is the ultimate way to go. It's the best way to go. So I'm just saying I agree with you there. Mm-hmm. There's a difference though between you and I and a lot of men and women where you're thinking about the future and so am I, but my approach is different. And so I'm thinking about the future in terms of me executing and knocking out these day-to-day activities and tasks. And it's not that I don't have a vision for where it is that I ultimately want to be or where I want us to go. But I establish it and I'm not preoccupied with it. What I'm focused on is putting one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. And I'm not communicating about what I see in the future. And so that's where I'm not being inclusive, and I can see how that can be problematic. But in terms of me doing the day-to-day things, I'm not making the request that you come join me. Like it's and that may be a man thing. It may be an ego thing. It may be an Aize thing. But I just feel as though like I'm gonna do me and you're gonna do you. And with us each doing what we do individually, it makes the collective just that much more better. And so it's why you shaking your head?
Cause you lying.
Why you say
that? You confused about what we talking about. I'm talking about when we're talking the things that I was talking about last night. I was talking about things
even like talking about the move. Like I mean, yeah,
I'm talking about the move, but I'm talking about I don't want you to get in there and talk with me about the logistics and who we're going to hire. And I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. I'm talking about the vision of where we're going, even in terms of our financial future, in terms of our moving, in terms of our business, some of those broader, higher level things. Mm-hmm. And all of it intersects and overlaps. I'm talking about that stuff. I'm not, you say I don't ask you to come over and leave. Yes, you do. I mean, there's been so many times in our work, in our membership community, for example, where you're like, okay, you come over here too and do this. I'm like, babe, you can do this part and I can do this part. We've had this conversation plenty of times. Mm-hmm. We don't have to sit next to each other and do all the things together. Not that I'm saying that you said that, but you definitely have been like, you need to be here too. And I'm like, no, I don't. Like, we can make better use of our impact and our time for some things by splitting up. So I'm not talking about that because that's not the case. But I think that
that's different though.
And that is different. And so what I'm saying is what we talked about last night is not that. I'm not talking about come over here with me to talk about the super detailed logistics, although that would be fine at times. When I'm talking about our financial goals in the next 5 years, 10 years, whatever, that's not something that I'm like, oh, like, I'm not asking you to come over. Well, you should come over. Like that, that is not something that I'm talking about the detailed things, even though, again, because what we always say, y'all, is that, so my husband and I, because we work together, and even outside of work, like you should be having family meetings to discuss the goals that you have for yourselves, for your income, your savings, the things that you want to do, what it's going to look like, how are we going to navigate that, negotiate that, and oh shoot, I forgot my train of thought.
Can I talk while you try to get your train of thought back?
Wait a minute, just want to be sure it's not coming back.
It's gone.
You just want it to be gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
You want it to be gone.
So in terms of the day-to-day stuff,
so frustrating.
When it's business related, because it's our business, and because we both have responsibilities, there may be areas in which you contribute, or even that I ask you to do, because it's what we're doing together. What I'm really responding to is when you have an independent thought or feeling, a direction that you want to take us in, or a direction that you want to go, something that you see of high value. You want to bring me into that space. And so I understand that. So you're being inclusive in terms of like, this is something that I want us to do, but you should also value it as well.
Baby, we're not talking about like a new project.
Yeah,
we're talking about
just family
goals,
moving forward.
That's not something I'm bringing you into. That's us.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, see, the difference between you and I is this. So I can be having those thoughts too. Mm-hmm. And I can be having similar feelings. But I'm processing. And then I'm strategically trying to figure out how to make it happen. And so, but I'm not looking to you to. I'm not extending myself to have the conversation with you.
Well, that's relationship coach, Mr. Mott. Is that the way to do things? I mean, you're saying, I know that about you, that you sometimes can be in your head and like operate in isolation, but that's not the goal.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it's not, but I guess what I'm saying is that they're just two different avenues. So for me, I would like to iron out certain pieces and then bring them to you when I feel as though they're worthy of presentation. Whereas you would like to iron out the details together. And so for me, a part of that real talk feels like a waste of time. And so we massage, but when I say it feels like a waste of time, I'm just talking about us eventually coming to a place where we can agree on something. It's going to take time and energy, which is cool, but you're also
Why are you even
building.
focusing on we going to agree on something versus us just, envisioning? Jeez.
Because then, I mean, that's when I say like it feels like it might be a waste of time. I do my envisioning, you do your envisioning. And when we ready to like actually put something on paper, then let's be more concrete about it and let's make it do what it do. But I just feel like, yeah, sometimes it's your process that I don't like. I know sometimes you don't like my process.
Most times it's my process.
Yeah, you don't like my process.
I don't have a problem with
That's
your
not
process.
true. You got a problem with my process. Because a lot of my process happens up here.
I don't have a problem with that because a lot of my process happens up there. The difference between me and you is that I take it out of my head and I try to communicate it with you. And I try to look for spaces for us to share. I think most people be in their head and kind of mulling things over and trying to figure things out. But y'all non-communicators or condensers or people who don't share as much or just are internal, I don't think, and let me be serious, I know that you're not doing that on purpose. You're not trying to withhold anything from me. 9 times out of 10, that's not the case. It's just a habit. But when I say I want you to, going back to what we started out with, get over here with me, I'm talking about connecting in and having these conversations and exchanging, because where 2 or more are gathered. When you have 3 strands,
yeah,
even though we 2 people, you know what I'm saying? When there is the collective, you can, I'm thinking all kind of quotes. You can go further with the group. What's the African proverb?
Yeah, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Say that again, sweetheart. Say it again.
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
So do we go together or what? Do we go together or what? Like, are we going together or what? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we going together.
So that's all I'm saying is that, I mean, this could be a part too, because I feel like there's a part of men in general, I would like to say with you and I that, and I feel like I can say it, but I'm not 100% sure that you feel free to be, maybe not free. I might be too ambitious, but you feel like it's a safe place. Like, I feel like there's a part of you maybe that sometimes, I mean, let's keep it clean. Like, we dialogue and talk all day long, every day.
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about just talking and having communication about different things, but I'm talking specifically about some of these other areas that may be more complex or require, a different kind of level of strategy, that require more risk. All of that kind of stuff, and we have to negotiate, so I think that becomes more challenging for us or for anybody in that situation. And I'm wondering sometimes if for you and for many men, like, even dialoguing about that, talking about that is just like not attractive because you're not trying to get into it with your wife. I'm not trying to go there and be like getting into it. But my thing is, I think that, that we lose something, we miss out on something when we don't share, when we don't envision, and when we don't think through, and we don't dream together. I know you do it by yourself. I do it by myself, and I feel like we have done it together in our business in a lot of ways. But there's so many levels. So we always say it's levels to this.
Yeah.
And I just think, there's a level beyond where we have gone, for sure. There's many levels beyond where we have gone.
Yeah, I'm down for aiming for that level.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I am. I'm not going to back away from a challenge.
You just told me the difference between me and you is I don't be asking you to come over here.
Yeah.
You basically said, don't ask me to come over here and be done.
Nah, I'm just saying, I mean, I know that I have the capacity to empathize and I'm willing to stretch and I can have the conversations, even though they be long as a mug. Like, it's and they can be exhausting and tiring.
How you say? I don't be doing that.
Yes, you do. Yes,
Today,
you
I
do.
still be going long and strong?
At the wrong time.
Okay.
At 11 o'clock at night.
I receive it.
I'm just saying.
I receive it.
Ladies, be mindful of your timing. All right? Be mindful of your timing.
Why is it that if I say I want to have a conversation about what's underneath my clothes, my nightgown, that you can have a detailed conversation about that?
We ain't gonna be talking. Ain't gonna be no conversation. It's gonna be touching, not talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't talking. We touching. Mm-hmm. I'm touching.
But you awake now. When I was talking to him last night, I was like, "Are you listening?" Didn't I say it like 3 times?
I was like, I don't want to deal
I said that John like 3 times. Are you listening? Are you listening?
Yeah, I mean, so I heard you and I made space and I was responsive.
You was laying down.
I was laying down. It was 11 o'clock at night.
He getting old. 11 o'clock at night sound like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
I'm on a different type of grind right now. So it's my body is responding differently. Mm-hmm. And so I got to make sure I respect that. But
true.
Again, I do think that I can stretch. I know I can stretch. I know you can stretch as well. And so I think ultimately we got to make room for each other. And I'm willing to have the conversation. I'm willing to dream and envision and do all of that. I mean, it's only going to add to. It's not going to take away. And so I'm down for that. I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to grow with you. And I'm trying to go far with you.
And that's why you my boo. I love you, baby.
I love you too, baby.
All right, everybody. This has been another episode of the Relationship Cheat Code. I hope that you got something from it. You saw yourself. You thought of something you hadn't thought about before. But more than anything, I hope that you stop playing and start pushing to the next level in your relationship. See you next time.